Hey guys, welcome to the Troy Gramling podcast. I am so glad that you're here today. You know, we like to talk about life, talk about leadership, really talk with real people about real things so that we can all become who God's created us to be. You might say, reach our potential. Now, you can follow along on all the streaming apps as well as a video version on YouTube. And today, we got a very special guest. We have with us Liza Cirlot. Did I say that all correctly?
You did not.
Oh, what'd I say wrong?
Liza Cirlot.
What'd I say?
Cirlot.
Cirlot.
CeeLo. Think CeeLo Green.
CeeLo. And you told me that, and I still...
Yeah, it's okay.
I still messed up. But anyways, we are really, really glad to have you and are thankful for you being here today.
I am really, really glad to be here. Thank you. It's an honor. I really appreciate it.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Let's start with your family, and then we'll go from there.
My favorite subject in the whole wide world. So I am married to Rick Lucer, and we worked together. I started the company in 1984. We met in 1988, and he joined the firm when we married. We've been married 35 years, and maybe you and Steph look at this the same way. Most couples spend a good 3 hours a day with one another because they're going to work and they're dealing with the kids and running. Maybe you get 3 hours. Well, we get like 24 hours.
Yes.
And so in dog years, we say that we've been married 245 years. You know. But he is wonderful, and where I am strong on brand strategy, he is great with crisis management and PR, so it was a match made in heaven. And on our website, it tells a story. We met in Baton Rouge at a American Advertising Federation convention. He saw me across the room, grabbed a photographer, and said, take a picture of us on the night we met, so we can show our children.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So do you have the picture?
Yeah, we have it. It's on our website.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Really great.
So did you immediately start working together then, or?
We married, and he was living in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, moved to Jackson, where I was, and Jackson, Mississippi. And so he took about 3 months, really wasn't sure if he wanted to work with his wife or not,
right,
and everything, but, we really realized that we were going to compete with one another, or we were going to be partners. And so he came in for a project and really never left, and it has been great. I just feel honored to be able to have built a company with my husband, and knowing that I kind of took the initial step trying to think, how in the world can I start a company and have a family, and because of the demands of the industry we're in. And so what I didn't see is that, God was preparing a place for my husband to come, for us to have a great career together.
So now how does working together, how has it impacted your marriage, do you think, when you think on that?
We laugh all the time. It has kept us together because we cannot fight. Think about it.
Right.
We can hate each other and hope we die in our sleep one night. Then we have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, get going, and we have to talk to clients. We have to talk to employees. We have to do our work. And by the time it's over, the day is over, we're home and we're kind of over it because we had to work together. And instead of going to our respective businesses, talking to coworkers, and their coworkers saying, you shouldn't have to put up with that, and you're all worked up all again whenever you get home. So we think that the reason we're together today is because we just didn't have an opportunity to fight a lot together.
Yeah, for Steph and I, because originally when she taught school, and then she was home with the kids, and then as the kids got older, then she was at the church full time. So I don't know, we've been here for 20 years, so let's say the last 15 years or so. And for me, what I've noticed in my life is when she was teaching school and doing all that, so we did have, different things and directions, and not in a bad way, but just those kind of things. But now, because we are together, so I think I don't think she has as much as me, but I've become more codependent upon on her, because she's always there. Yeah. So if she gets sick or any of those kind of things, I don't think I'd do very well without her.
Yeah. Well, I was coming here, and I said, well, you're going to miss me. And he said, well, I wish you would stay 9 days. 9 days. And I said, well, it is in the Miami area, so I can work that out. And he said, I miss you on the 8th day. And look forward to seeing you on the 10th.
Oh, that's cool. Interesting. So now you have children as well?
We do. We have a daughter who's the oldest, and our son. They're 18 months apart, and they are in their 30s now. Our daughter is in Los Angeles, living in West Hollywood in reality television. Last year she's been working for Bravo as a segment producer on 2 shows. One is Southern Charm and Southern Hospitality. And so that's been filming in Charleston. And so she's been in Charleston actually for 10 weeks. 10 months. She's back in LA, and we'll probably start doing that again in September or October. And our son is in Washington, D.C. with his wife. They both, our son actually worked for Marco Rubio when he was running for president, and then on staff on the Hill, worked for him. And now he's at the RNC as the National Deputy Political Director of the RNC, and his wife is the Director of Events. So she's actually putting on the convention next summer in Milwaukee.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so tell us what it is you do, what industry you are in, and then I want to come back to the question I want to ask is, did the kids ever think about joining you in that, or have they always had different dreams and in different directions? But first, tell us what it is you do.
Well, the Cirlot Agency is a global brand development public relations firm. We do work in several different industries, and a lot in the aerospace defense industry. That's really what I champion. My husband champions something different. We don't do things together, one, because we didn't want to look like a mom and pop shop, and our areas of specialty are different. So we'll champion separate clients. And so we work with clients all over the world, and we help them. In the case of aerospace defense, for example, we wind up supporting the manufacturers of products and services that get to the military and to our warfighters that puts the best product or service in their hands, makes it available to them to accomplish a mission at hand and get home safely. And so that has a lot of meaning for us. We're a very patriotic organization and company. And so we help position companies to be known as the leader in their industry and to help sustain and keep those companies going.
All right. So, if I understand, you're helping those who produce the tools, in some sense, that keep us free here in this country. I guess to make that known to what they do and what they have available known.
Makes them, So that with Congress and the Pentagon, you have 2 different objectives. Congress wants to know how cheaply can you make a product or service, and are you going to hire my constituents? The Pentagon could care less where a product or service is from, where it's made. It's the best product into the hands of the warfighter. They don't care how much it costs. So there's a dynamic you have to deal with. But the most important thing is that if you're working with a company like Northrop Grumman, they manufacture several different products and capability to the military. And so we position them or that product or that service as the best product and service out there so that the military will buy it.
All right. So you have to help them answer both those questions.
That's right.
That's I'm sure interesting. But now, how did you? When you started the company, is that the direction you dreamed of going, or how did that? How do you end up there?
We were in the financial industry and handled like 14 different financial institutions over the Southeast, and that's where we really cut our teeth. Then deregulation happened in the financial industry, and all of the smaller banks and financial institutions were gobbled up by the big ones. And so that was really going down. But then Ingalls Shipbuilding, and that I'm from Moss Point, Mississippi, and Ingalls is in Pascagoula. And
hold on, Pascagoula. That's where what's his name's from, right? Is the comedian from there? Where have I heard Pascagoula? Jerry Clower? No. He's from somewhere like that.
He's from Mississippi. Yeah. He's from Yazoo City.
Yazoo City. That's right. Yeah. Is there anybody famous from besides yourself there from Pas?
Yeah. No, the only one I can think of is there was a singer who talked about Pascagoula, the Baptist Church in Pascagoula, who an old guy. I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway, it was about a squirrel getting into going to the Baptist Church in Pascagoula.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe,
what was that guy's name? I can see his face.
Right.
Yeah, I did. That's where I heard that.
The Streak. He sang The Streak.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was one of those guys back when people watched TV that would have an album, you know.
That's right. Yeah.
So for those of you watching, look it up on Google, all right? Peace. The about the squirrel that went to church.
Pascagoula, Mississippi.
So I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
That was too fine. We had a shot to work with Ingalls Shipbuilding, and so we started working with them, and about 2 years later, they were going after one of the largest defense contracts ever awarded at that time. Congress mandated that they had to joint venture with other companies, so all defense companies competed independently, and then Congress said you've got to join up as a team and go after a contract and an RFP. And so the Northrop Grumman and Raytheon teamed together. And so long and short of it, they won that contract. It was the largest defense contract ever awarded. And they gave us credit for being part of that win. And when they did that, other trade publications started writing about us, saying that we were one of the top defense communication firms in the nation, and the phone started ringing, so we just went there. And so now we work with clients that are in Italy, France, England, Israel, in the United States, every continent.
So now, when you began the company, was it business? Was it a brand? Was it marketing? I mean, what was in your heart to even start in that direction?
I loved it, from college on, and I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I had the creative side of it, and then I worked in the PR side, and then I thought at 25, I can do this on my own. And so I did. I had a $78 state income tax return check, and I thought, I'm going to do something really special with this $78. And I opened up the company at that point, and the banker was teased when I walked in. It's a woman. I thought she was like 200 years old. She was probably 50. And her name was Mary Smythe. And she said, so what are you going to do? So this enthusiastic 25-year-old, I told her, what I thought I could do and how I could do it and who I was going after and everything. And she wrapped up all the paperwork, and she handed it to me and said, go get 'em, Tiger. And so the Tiger's our mascot still to this day. After, we'll celebrate our 40th year in business next year.
Congratulations.
Isn't that something? Yeah, so God's good.
So who was your first client?
The Mississippi Special Olympics. That was my very first. It was a 3-month contract, and it was to handle the PR for the summer games of the Special Olympics. And then I went into the financial institution. Savings and loans were really big at that time, and just grew it out, from there. But it's been a great 40-year run.
So with the kids, did they ever show interest in joining, or would they have their own directions?
When they were in the high school, they said they would never, ever join us or work as hard as we work, and that they were going to do something easy. Well, of course, we do commercials, we do television broadcasts, we do all this other stuff. And so my daughter's in Hollywood doing that. And then in politics and political strategy, that's what our son does. And we work with lobbyists, and we work with all of that. And different campaigns and things along that line too. So they're actually doing.
So they joined you, they just don't know it.
Yeah, they don't know it. And so we have spoken with them. And what we have a company, it's considered a small company. We only have between 25 and 35 employees. But the overhead is tremendous. And so, we have probably seven employees that have worked with us over 20 years.
Wow.
Between 20 and over 30 years, I guess, at that point. So we really built this company together, all of us. And so we're, the challenge is, do you want to burden them with that overhead, or do you want them to launch and do their own thing? And so we have offices in Washington, D.C., so he could take that office and run with it and do that. And our daughter, our management company that has our offices in D.C., also has offices that we can use in L.A., and so she could take it and do her own thing there. And so we'll see. We'll just see how it goes.
One day at a time.
Yep, that's right. But we're really proud of them.
And that's a good place, to be, opportunity and choice.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And in a lot of ways, as parents, that's what you're really. What greater gift can you give than to position in such a place to have those kind of opportunities, but also that ability to choose, what God's truly calling them to do, as opposed to feeling they have no choice because of the environment of the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. We just don't want to burden them there. But the key is that they have to pursue what God has put upon their heart to go after. And so that's what they're doing, and we're really proud of them.
So in business, lots of aspects to what you do, but then all the things you have to do to be able to do what you do. Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that maybe you've learned that you've then been able to actually apply to the family, or maybe something that you learned as a parent that even propelled you further in the business world?
Great question, because, I thought as children that you need to help them or allow them to make their own decisions, even though you're guiding them. So, giving them a couple of options. You can do this, or you can do this, or what do you think about this, and why do you think that's the right direction? But it's really a matter of respect. And so our employees, we have always asked, and I remember saying, look, I'm not asking you because I don't know an answer and I can't do this. I'm asking you because I respect your opinion. I want to know what you think. So talk to me about that. Tell me your thoughts, because I think together we're much stronger than we are individually. And so, we were not our children's friend. My husband is a good, solid disciplinarian. I am an absolute wet noodle when it comes to that. I'm just the worst. And so I'm, peace and all this other stuff. And, but we brought them in and treated them like individuals. And I think that's something that I learned back and forth from business and family.
Yeah, it's easy to get busy and just kind of treat everybody the same.
Do this, get this done, and all of that. And so you have to really embrace and include your employees and your family and your children into the conversation and get their opinion and ask. So
you started in 25, right?
Yeah.
And so, and then you're in financial area, and then you're in the defense. I was trying to think of the right word, but which would be thought, often people would think of those as male-dominated areas, finance and defense. So what was that a challenge, or did you ever think about that? Did you have to fight through that, or did you just move forward, or?
It was a bit of a, especially at the very beginning, it was a bit of a fight, but I attended undergraduate at Mississippi University for Women, and that was at the height of all of equal rights for women and ERA and all of that other stuff. And so it was a time where the attention on women was really given more so than before. And so I think I hit it at the right time when I started the company that people were giving women a chance. And so that was a blessing to me that, the timing was right. But yeah, I mean, you have that dynamic where it's male, female, and here is, a young, single woman, with a lot of ambition and all of that. But you just have to know who you are, and you've got to stop it, and you cannot do business with somebody that you date,
right.
and and have a relationship with in that way, except for now my husband.
Right.
So we
right.
work together. So,
Right.
But as a client, all those things were a little bit challenging. But you just have to know who you are, and you have to set parameters, and this is the
Well,
way
you
we
would
do
also
it.
think. I mean, again, I don't. In my mind, I think of both of those environments. I think are very confident people. With the financial area, the people who have succeeded there have a lot of confidence, and then, defense, your
Right.
big guns and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So, so where to even walk into that environment and say I have something to add value, whether you're man or woman, where does that confidence come from? Do you think?
I believe the confidence is inside, and God given, and you have to know what you're doing. You have to know your stuff, and so I did everything I could do to learn everything I needed to know, so that I can walk in and bring value to a conversation. And I went to Harvard Business School and did the 3-year executive education program because I was working and a mother and all of that, and that was really special. But you continually learn, and and things change so quickly that you've just got to have a mindset of learning. You never get to a place where you go, okay, I've got it.
Now, when you began, was that something that your parents played a role in, or that beginning ability?
It not so much. I had 2 beautiful, talented, incredibly talented parents that alcohol and drugs took away their lives, and a series of events, maybe another podcast, wound up living at 15 alone in an apartment with no electricity. I would catch a ride with anybody who could take me to school. And then, fortunately, my aunt and uncle found out that that was it. And I always was under a veil of secrecy, silence, don't tell anybody, don't do anything. And so I was just trying to figure it out on my own. But I remember, and I'll tell you, at 4 years old, I remember there was so much domestic violence and everything there. I was in a room by myself, sitting on the floor coloring, 4 years old. And I heard a voice right here, and it said, "This is not the life I've planned for you." And I remember looking up, trying to see who's speaking to me, and I know that was the Word of God. And so I've had a few times like that. And when you hear the Word of God, you understand it clearly. You don't forget it. And so from that point on, though, I was taken in by my aunt and uncle, and school teachers worked at English Shipbuilding. He worked there, and 2 daughters who were absolutely wonderful, and they gave me a safe environment. They gave me love, and there is nothing in my life that I could ever do to repay that. And so, without getting choked up about it all, so you have that, and I wound up putting myself through school, and that's where the entrepreneurial, side of me came from. I was doing side hustles before it was a name, and so, everything I could do to try to stay in school and to get through it. And I had a wonderful college career, and so I knew by the time I was out of school that I could certainly take care of myself. And so anyway.
Now, was your faith playing a role in your life that early in your life, or?
All yeah, from the time I was, little, even, before 4 years old.
Right.
He was there and he was present. I felt the power of his Holy Spirit work through me every day of my life.
And I think, it's so good for folks who are listening to just be reminded, one, whatever the environment and situation, they can overcome it.
That's right.
That God does care about those things. I mean, even a 4-year-old little girl, I always think about the passage, that where David says, we are wonderfully, knit together in our mother's womb to do something of significance. We're marvelous in his perspective. And then to the role that, we never know when we reach out to help someone, whether they be family, like your aunt and uncle, or whether, it be whoever God nudges our heart, that those individuals have potential as well. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's, when you look at it, the power of one, I keep going back to that in my head. It's the power of one, what God's Holy Spirit can do with just one individual. And if we could embrace that, I think we could solve most any problem.
So time seems to fly by, but I know that the folks who are listening, one of the things that everybody deals with, I'm sure you have as well, is discouragement, know? And so how do you, two ideas here. One, how do you keep yourself from being defeated? And then how do you pass that down to your team, to your employees, and the folks around you?
I have to look at when I get discouraged, and I'm not very often, but sometimes I do. And I have to just go back to the core of it. Okay, what am I discouraged about? What is the root cause of this? And I think, okay, am I out ahead of God? Have I tried to take control? And am I discouraged because it's not working in my timing? Am I discouraged that I've done everything I could possibly do and I'm totally exhausted? And that's how I felt during COVID, trying to keep the company together and to survive all of that. And I remember just reaching a point going, it's yours anyway, I'm taking on this burden and I shouldn't take on this burden because you're totally in control.
Why do we do that?
I don't know. I don't know. And so I just have to have this heart-to-heart to myself and say, okay, girlfriend, you have gotten way out ahead of where God wants you to be. And then I have to let go of it. I've got to just trust him and say, this is your deal, it's not mine. And you do not take away my bread and give me stone. You promise that. So I hang on to that.
I just trust in him. So then how do you then take that to your team? Yeah.
Best team in the whole wide world. We have weathered so much together, and I think that's the beauty of it. So we have this core team that we've been together for well over 20 years, and we've hit the long time ago the .com crash, 9/11, 2008. COVID. So we knew the drill. So people have been there, and Rick and I have always had their backs. We have always made sure that they're taken care of first. And so, the burden of being an owner, and I'm sure even being a pastor of a church, you put your head down. You're not just thinking about your family. You're thinking about every family that is under your roof. And what you're doing. So we have focused together on growing the company. We have focused on raising children together. But it's just being flexible and being respectful of one another and appreciating the value that they brought.
On the other side of that, I know there's always those that you invest in who then either let you down or walk away or create some kind of pain in your life. How have you kept that from then causing you to see, not trust the rest of the team? You say, you've got a great team and you've got this relationship, but perception is so powerful in our world. So how, when someone violates that, how have you kept that violation from causing you to see everybody in that same light? Has it been intentional, or has it not been that big a challenge, or how have you walked?
Trust is a really big issue with me. I've got to trust you, and I will trust somebody until I can't. And so that's really a fault of mine. I'm way, way too trusting with individuals. But, I'll give you the shirt off my back. I'll do whatever I can do for you. And it hurts when you really try and you try to help, and someone does that. And we've had a few individuals in the firm who were, prima donnas. It's all about them. And so there's no I in team, as they say. And we are truly a team. And so, they stay a few years and everything. But, even when we've had employees that just shouldn't be there, Rick and I have been the last to say, look, you really need to go let us help you find someplace else to be. And, the trust, it's hard for me to get over. Still, my heart's broken with, a few that have left, and I felt, the firm has been misrepresented, but they need to do their thing, their own journey, and move on. And so we've been so successful, and God always makes up. Anything that is set against us there's just no power to it. And I'm grateful for all of that. But the fun part is that the people that are in place and are working right now are so engaged and excited to be there, and there's just a ton of energy in our firm, and we're happy about that. But I will say Rick is a much better judge of character than I am. And so it's so great that I can get behind him and he can, kind of identify somebody and go, yeah, I don't think so. And so I trust that. I really do trust him.
Well, it's an honor to get to talk with you and to hear just a little bit of your story.
Oh, thank you. Honored to be here.
I get to be a part of it. Look forward to the future. And now, how if people are interested in you or the firm, where can they find what's going on in your world?
Well, thank you for asking. The website is www.Cirlot. Cirlot, spelled, it's French, so it's Cirlot.com, and we're there. So happy to talk with anyone.
All right. Well, be sure and check it out. And again, it is an honor to have you guys hang out with us today. I hope you have an incredible day. Now, don't forget, pass it along. There's somebody that needs to hear what was said today. It'll be an encouragement to them. It's on all the streaming platforms, as well as a video version on YouTube. And we'll be back next Thursday. I hope you'll be here. Have a great day. God bless.